Hello, welcome to Tip Off today. Hope you guys are doing great. All right, bunch of stuff. I'm overloading you with things today. I think I did a Brent Berry conversation earlier today, so I'll have that for you on the program. He was really good. Ken Pomeroy and I sat down for the K-Jazz show, The Fan, and did a breakdown of all of the American draft players. I'll have that podcast for you coming up. Thanks to Joe Kruger for that. So that's all coming up. Bowler and Ben are doing the show today. Wednesday, I'm in solo. Thursday, Greg Miller is in for the 5 o'clock hour on 1320 KFan, so make sure you tune in for that. So those things should be great. All right, in the great T-shirt controversy, I can't believe there's actually sun coming through here. It might have stopped finally raining. This is my Century shirt from the weekend, but the great T-shirt controversy. Actually, the guy who ripped me apologized, and I didn't really mean that. I was just having fun with him. But here's what I'm going to do about the great T-shirt controversy of me wearing Sonic shirts and Derrick Rose free shirts. Every T-shirt I wear is in some way, shape, or form free. So I got to turn down the volume a little bit. So you may want to turn up your volume a little bit right now. So I've decided we're getting pretty good traffic on this. I'm going to just be a shill for all of you. Send me your T-shirts. They have to be clean. To 434 Bearcat Drive, Salt Lake City, Utah, 84121, care of Scott Gerard. And I'll pick them up. And your company, I will wear your company T-shirt, give you pub, help you out. All right, bunch of things to talk about. Last night's game, Dallas's comeback against Oklahoma City was really just totally amazing. I just rewatched it. James Harden's 6 fouls, a key moment, and it's a reach-in foul. It's just not very smart. Nowitzki's 3-play sequence late, as I tweeted out at Locked On Sports. You can follow me there. You got it on Facebook as well at Locked On Sports. Is his Hall of Fame career. It's just a veteran team against a young team. I'm so curious to see what happens in Oklahoma City, because right now they are exactly the same team as the Utah Jazz were in 2007, and who would have thought the Jazz never got back? But on the other end of the last 11 teams since the year 2000, the last 11 teams who have got to the Western Conference Finals and lost, only the Spurs in 01 got back in 03. Only Dallas in 03 got back in 06, and now Dallas got back again. But if you look back, Portland in 2000 loses, they don't make it back. The Spurs did. The Kings in 2002 didn't make it back. Minnesota with Garnett don't make it back. The Jazz in 07 don't make it back. The Spurs in 08 haven't made it back. Denver in 09 hasn't made it back. Phoenix in 10 hasn't made it back. It's very curious to me to see what happens with the future of Oklahoma City. Some people are saying, well, they just trade Westbrook for Chris Paul or Darren Williams. Maybe that's the answer, but you're playing and changing things. The other thing is Oklahoma City is not a good defensive team. And to win in the NBA, you have to be a good defensive team. And I think that's going to be where Oklahoma City has to figure out a way to become a better defensive team without totally altering who they are personnel-wise. Westbrook's supposed to be a great defender. Durant's probably long so he can defend. Perkins is who they picked up. Ibaka. They have the construction of guys who should be able to defend, but will that construction stay together? Ibaka at some point might want a larger role, more money. Somewhere else, you might have the same thing with Maynard at some point. Obviously, the new collective bargaining agreement will have a huge part to do with this. But Oklahoma City is pretty fascinating to me. When you look at where the Jazz were in 2007, it's right where Oklahoma City was, and the Jazz never returned. Will Oklahoma City be able to return would be the question to that. Draft stuff, I'm working on Derrick Williams. My videos are there. I got some issues with him, so hopefully I'll get it up. I watched the Duke first half where he's amazing. I watched the Texas game where he's not. I'm not as over the moon on this guy as Ferg and Scotty and Ben. The two questions, I talked to 2 or 3 scouts last night. Most of them just tell me, hey, he's a power forward. You can't change what he is. He would be, a really big, heavy, small forward in a league that's getting more athletic. If he's a power forward, he's undersized. If he's a power forward, they play predominantly with him at Arizona pick and pop game, very little back to the basket game. And I'm not sure that I saw what I'd like to almost get another game somehow. I'm not sure I saw a lot of dribble drive out of him. What I saw is if he got a window, his athleticism is unbelievable, and he can get to the rim. And Derrick Williams does fabulous things at that point. But he's got to have that gap. He's not the kind of guy who gets it and then beats you. My small forward's got to be able to beat me a little bit, I think. Or else you're just Gerald Wallace. And maybe he is Gerald Wallace, and maybe in this draft Gerald Wallace is who you get in the second or third pick of the draft. But I think he's a power forward. It's interesting. If he's on the board at 3, it's an interesting call for the Jazz because if he's really a power forward, I'm not sure that he is ever a starting power forward on a really, really good team. Think about that for a second. Is Derrick Williams, if he's a power forward, is he a really, really good starting power forward on a really, really good team? And I have some questions on whether or not that's the case. So we'll keep an eye on him. There's some other interesting things going on with the draft. The more I talk to people, the top is completely not as clear. Kyrie Irving, 1, is somewhat questionable. 2 is way off the map. No one knows. Some people have Valanciunas ahead of Cantor on the board. Other people, I think Cantor ends up going to. And really, I can't see Minnesota drafting Derrick Williams. It doesn't make any sense. So then Derrick Williams is on the board for the Jazz at 3. And do you take Brandon Knight or Derrick Williams? And frankly, I look at those two guys. I like Brandon Knight. I got to watch him again. But all the things I see out of Brandon Knight that he needs to improve are easily improvable in his game. His shot needs to get a little bit better. I think he gets more natural as a point guard. I think he just hasn't had the time. He's vastly improved as the year went on. He wowed people with his interview skills in Chicago. He's a great kid. So all of those things, the key things about him, his shooting, decision-making, strength, those are just going to happen naturally. Derrick Williams, the key things on him, I'm not sure whether his game has the matches to the NBA game that's going to ask him out of those positions. So to me, those are very, very interesting circumstances to keep an eye on, and we'll see how that goes on. I don't know if you caught it yesterday on the show. Jimmer Fredette, fun little thing with Jimmer. The Jazz asked him 3-3, what do you think of? Some people would say 6, 3-3. What do you think of? He said 3 championships in 3 years, which I figured Cougar fans would love that aspect of Jimmer and that he had that approach. Jimmer also said that ideally he'd like to play in Utah, so we'll see whether or not that happens or not. But we'll see. Brandon Knight, to me, is the next video I'm going to pop after I try to edit up the Derrick Williams for you. And I think the Jazz at 3, I still think the Jazz end up taking Brandon Knight 3. Numerous people I've talked to feel Knight has jumped ahead of Walker, his size, his strength, eventual strength, and his natural athleticism is probably a little superior. All right, I don't want to inundate you with too much stuff today because I'm going to give you the Brent Barry podcast, the Ken Pomeroy podcast. There's a lot of stuff out there coming down your pipe already today. I don't want to give you too much. So thanks for tuning in to Tip Off. There's a lot more, obviously, to talk about today, but I'll try to get it to you tomorrow or Thursday. I'm on with you Wednesday, and then I'm on with you Thursday as well. With Bowler Thursday, Greg Miller comes on at 5 o'clock on that show. That is the tip-off. Send your T-shirts. This is my Century Cycling T-shirt. I loved it, by the way. I'm totally addicted. I will tell you, if I could just give, I don't want to be a self-help person, but I set a goal. It's a 20-year-old goal to get this done. I finally got it done. The adrenaline rush I got biking from the 70th mile to the 95th mile, realizing I was going to get this thing done, and the way I just feel about myself, just even the athletic stuff I've done just working out the last few days is incredible. I'm no different than the rest of you. I'm always trying to drop the 5 pounds or whatever it is. I feel like that's such an unfulfilling accomplishment. I strongly suggest, whether it's running 2 miles, running 5 miles, biking something, deciding I am like running a high right now from achieving that this weekend. So that's my only thought for you. All right, send your T-shirts. The Craig T-shirt controversy. I'm just going to become a free advertiser for all of you out there. I expect my Burton Lumber T-shirt from Burton Lumber and all of you out there. 434 Bearcat Drive. Send it in. Salt Lake City, Utah. Care of Scott Gerard will take care of it. Care of Scott Gerard for me, and we'll get it to you. All right, that's tip-off today. YouTubers, have a good one. That's me and Dad, by the way. See ya.